I'm Howard Phillips Lovecraft, and today's question comes to us from Nick, who wants to know my thoughts on Frank Herbert's Dune series. Now, I have acquainted myself with this book and the many others that follow, and one thing that struck me right away was the role of the Bene Gesserit in their centuries-long breeding programs. You see, I have many thoughts on many thoughts that don't bear going into right now. What does bear going into is the fact that Mr. Herbert and myself share something of a literary family connection. You see, this book began as a serial in the Analog magazine, which began its life as Amazing by an associate of mine, Hugo Gernsback, who I frequently refer to as Hugo the Rat. The pulps, you see, were such an amazing place for writers like myself and others to play in the imaginative space, although oftentimes they were merely a repository for cheap commercial junk. Nevertheless, from time to time, they produced some high-quality work, like myself, and indeed, like Mr. Herbert. You see, what's fascinating about Mr. Herbert is how this book and this series have captured imagination for decades. There have been numerous adaptations, numerous revisions. People have returned to Dune again and again, not just in the film versions, like the attempts by Mr. Jodorowsky or Mr. Lynch or Mr. Villeneuve, but also the sci-fi television series. There have been comic books, games. People want to go to Arrakis, and not just for that delicious melange, but indeed because there's something gripping about this tale. It's in many ways a very traditional story with noble houses and revenge and love, a stranger in a strange land, traditionally attractive white heroes. That's all to say. It takes all these very traditional conservative elements, and yet there is something truly alien and strange and novel about how Herbert blends theories of ecosystem development with politics and sociology. He tries to cram it all into this rather aggressively sized tome, and then continued on and on and on until he passed on the work to his son and Mr. Anderson. That's all to say. I think why people are so attracted to Dune is that it perfectly blends the familiar with the alien, and in so doing creates a work that is truly delightful. Oh, if you are to read this, be sure not to skip the appendix, as Hannibal Lecter said to a dining guest. Howard! You know, as I was saying it out loud, I realized it was too much. I'm sorry. As always, I'm Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Thank you.